All right, let's talk about the Cube franchise, starting, of course, with Cube. Yeah, so let's get into it. Now, it's been a little while since I've seen these. And my memory was that I loved the first. I thought the second was pretty cool. And I thought the third, or the first, the zero, was not very good. Kind of boring. So we'll talk about the other two. But I will say that to start, the first one holds up very well. I think the only issue I really have with the movie, you know, outside of maybe nitpicks, is the very end. The very ending has some things to it that I just roll my eyes at and go, what the fuck? And we'll get into that, of course. But the first thing I want to say about this movie is that this is the most brilliant use of one set ever devised. Ever, 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 ever. So most lower budget films, something like a Reservoir Dogs, or we're not going to get into the list. But these real low budget low budget one location films typically have to use that one location, right? And so they're kind of tethered to it. It's like, well, I mean, we can only move, around the room so much. But with this one, they're like, all right, so we only have one location. How do we make it seem like it's actually an infinite number of locations? And all they had to do was change the lights in the fucking walls, and they could move from cube to cube to cube to cube. And they're in a different room every time. This movie feels huge. You never feel stagnant. They probably do, the characters, and you can kind of feel that they're just going in circles, and the rooms all look the same, and it's got to be very disorienting. But us as the viewer believe they're moving through thousands of rooms in the movie. Well, maybe, not thousands, but hundreds of rooms. But they're not. The actors are in the same room, the same set. They built this one set, and the entire film takes place in this one set. The entire thing. From frame one to frame's end. One room, but you feel like you're in 100. If that's not the most fucking brilliant use of a one location film ever devised, I do not know what is. So that right there off the bat, fucking phenomenal. And that's what's the brilliance of this film. In addition to plenty of other things. But yeah, so I just want to say that first. Number two, the opening kill in this is awesome. The guy who's been cubed and falls apart, much like the kill in Resident Evil, the first movie in that franchise. Looks great, is awesome. Now, of course, after you've watched the movie, or while watching the movie, if you're remembering or paying attention, your question is then going to be, well, everyone in this movie seems to serve a purpose, right? You've got the student who's a mathematician. You've got Kazan, who is the I'm trying not to get into Zero. Oh, fucking Christ. But you've got this like Rain Man type guy who can crunch numbers that are larger than fucking life. You got a detective that can kind of put it all together. You've got a doctor to patch them up if they get injured, who's also a conspiracy theorist, so I'm assuming that's why she's thrown in there, because she's like trying to blow the whistle on places like this. Everybody's got their role that they play within the film, right? You got the escape artist. I would assume they probably put him in there to see if some guy who's famous for escaping prisons could get out of this one. And so who the hell is this guy in the opening? What's his purpose? Is he from a different group of people? Like, what is this guy? So I thought that was interesting when I started to think back about everyone's purpose, and then I'm like, wait a minute, they never even got to meet this guy. This guy never even came across them. So what purpose did he serve? I mean, we don't get anything out of the guy. He just gets cubed. And that's that. So, great opening kill, sure, but it doesn't really answer the question. I mean, maybe he knew what the numbers on the little things meant. Maybe he knew they were these permutations and whatever. That would have helped Levin out dramatically. Maybe he had that knowledge, and they would have been able to figure this out much faster. But anyway, so we get freaking Luther from Hedwig and the Angry Inch in here, playing Quentin, which I love to see this guy. Huge Hedwig and the Angry Inch fan. If you haven't seen it, it's amazing. It's a musical, though. You might not like it, but I think it's phenomenal. So it was funny to see him in here. And Levin, I would wonder if Levin's first name is like Elaine or something, or Eleanor, or Elliot even. Then she'd be E. Levin. That'd be great, since she's a number person, everything. But her name, obviously. Now, the names in this are modeled after famous criminals. Famous prisoners. Yeah, famous prisoners. I did not look up to see what famous prisoners they're named after. But supposedly they are, so. But I would assume they gave the name Levin to the math girl, of course, right? And I know Levin from like Prom Night 4, Deliver Us from Evil. I've seen her a decent amount. She's a pretty girl. I like, her. Okay. The acting in this movie is pretty uneven. It's over the top. Is probably the biggest problem it has. Like, all of the straight dialogue is fine, but when tensions are raised and people are asked to kind of overextend themselves and get into more bombastic emotions, this is when the film really kind of suffers a little bit from the acting. But weirdly, because of how low budget it is, it doesn't bother me at all. Like, I notice it. I'm not going to say I don't. But it doesn't bother me. So, yeah, I get it. And I could imagine showing this to plenty of people and them being like, dude, this acting is so bad I can't get into it. And I guess I could see that. But I always can look past that kind of stuff. But with this one, I don't hate the acting. I think the acting's fine for the most part. It's just, as I said, when they get a little too excited, it's suffers. And this, for all intents and purposes, is like, I don't know if, okay, there's got to be other escape room type movies, but this is one of the firsts. And this is back in 97 or something? I want to say the first Cube was 97. I don't know if it says anywhere here, but I think that's accurate. So that would be considerably before Saw or anything. And these were done by Lionsgate. At least number 3 was. I think number 2 was. And number 1 was Trimark. Did Trimark turn into Lionsgate? I can't remember. But 2 and 3 are. Which, of course, they do the Saw films. But yeah, this is an escape room movie. And one of the better that there's ever been. I mean, there's a good amount of them out there, whether it be Exam or even Circle could be considered an escape room movie, which I love that movie, Circle. I've seen it a bunch of times now, actually. There's a death every like 30 fucking seconds to a minute in that movie, literally. It's like the premise of the film, and I think it's phenomenal. Anyway, but there's another one that a lot of people don't like. And then I like how Ren, this escape artist guy, kind of gives his like almost Samuel L. Jackson moment. He's giving his little speech like, "I'll abandon your asses." That's not what Samuel L. Jackson's saying, but it's just funny. He's giving his little speech, then he jumps in the room and boom, gets acid in the face from fucking some xenomorph basically, and he falls and his face melts away, and that looks awesome. So really cool gore there, really cool gore in the opening kill. So good, good, good. Like the hollow head that he has, his face is gone and his whole face has been melted down to the back of his head. So, so good. And then Levin figures out that these are prime numbers. Now, this, of course, changes throughout the film. If they're prime, it's safe. Oh, wait, no, actually, it's this. And then, oh, no, wait, actually, it's, coordinates. And then it's coordinates on a moving three-dimensional thing. It moves all around, which is really cool because it all works. I mean, I'm no mathematician, but clearly whoever wrote this movie has an affinity for math. There's no doubt about it, because it's really, really the centerpiece of this entire film, and it's really, really smartly written. So, that guy's got it together for sure in that department. I really like the music. I think it's a little unsettling since a decent amount of it is like vocal music. We're kind of like Friday the 13th with the like this one is more it's somebody just going it's like some female and she's like whispering it. It's fucking weird. It's weird and it's off, it's off, and this movie is, so it really fits it well. I like that a lot. And then we find out that there's 17,576 rooms in this cube. That's it. That's nothing. And the traps that are in the rooms, I love them, but they're fucking impossible. Like, how could bars that go stretch all the way across the room, spear this way and that way, but then the next room over has nothing in it? They'd be compacted to like this length, but somehow they're the length of the entire room. That happens throughout the entire film. That one that cuts that guy into cubes, it like rolls itself up into the wall, but it's like long bars. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't matter though. I don't care. I was just noticing, I was like, it doesn't make any sense. Who cares? Crossing that quiet room with Kazan, fuck that, dude. I'm with Quentin there. I'd be like, oh hell no. He can go last if he wants, or he can go first, but he ain't going with me. I ain't gonna be anywhere near that fucking guy when I cross this room. Absolutely not. He is way too risky. Fuck that. And good thing though, the sound room wasn't red. Good thing it was a blue room, because Kazan cannot keep his shit together in a red room. So I thought that was interesting, that it is an actual blue room. That's the rooms he likes. That's the room that he keeps calm in. And throughout the movie, all of the deaths, all of the drama, all of everything happens in red rooms. So there's a reason Kazan doesn't like red rooms, because that's where all the drama in this movie takes place. And oh man, the shit that the cop, well, Quinn and the doctor are like getting saying to each other is some really fucked up stuff. Like, he's going after her for being some dried up chick who can't get fucking dicked anymore, and this is why she hates everything, and she's, this and that, and then she's going at him like, you hit your kids and all this stuff. Damn, man, they're going for blood at each other. It's brutal. But then he fucking takes her and drops her. And this is just because he doesn't trust anyone anymore. He's just losing it, man. He thinks they're all spies, and I guess Levin he has a crush on. And they keep going off on him for like, oh, you're into little girls and all this and whatever. Dude, okay. Levin is clearly in her like mid-20s in this, and Quentin is not look that old. He looks like he's maybe early 30s. And I did look this up, and the actors are 6 years apart. She's like 26, or I wrote it down somewhere here because I was like, she's 27 and he's 33. Quentin is 6 years. Yeah. Really? He's a pedo in this movie? Come on, Levin. She's in college. She's in fucking college. She says so herself. How are you fucking like a pedo if she's 18 or older? Like, I don't know. That's stupid to me. Anyways, he likes young chicks. Who cares? Like, you know how many guys like young chicks? They're all pedophiles. And the cube is constantly shuffling and shifting. That's fucking unfair. Although once Levin figures it out, there you go, with the help of Rain Man. Two. I like the blue room. It's actually a pretty good impression. And then Kazan is taken from them and the rooms shift. And then it's like this big dramatic moment. And they lose kind of their brain. And then they just hear him moaning. And then they just kind of open up the doors. And he's just like 2 fucking doors over. I don't know. That could have been way more dramatic than it was. And they kind of squandered that a little bit. Like, it should have taken them longer to find him, you know? Just, they hear him, like, moaning and, like, and they find him, like, 3 seconds later. So it's like, it's not even a big deal. It really like, you could have edited that scene out and it wouldn't have mattered at all. Doesn't affect the story in the slightest. So, I don't know. It was just kind of a silly little thing. Anyway. Now it's the room they started in. Had they stayed there, they'd be fine. This is bullshit to me. Okay? So, we know that not everyone starts in the same room, right? They all kind of make their way to that one room, right? But that's only because they happen upon one another there. Like, everyone else has their free will to go wherever the fuck they want to go. And they wake up in multiple different rooms. And I think only a couple of them are in that one room to begin with. And so they all kind of make their way there. And Kazan is like, they don't even find him till much later on. So Kazan was just sitting in a room by himself. And he would have never motherfucking moved from that room. So they put them in, like, they put some of the people in the room and they all happened to end up in that one room. So now this movie would have made way more sense in that regard. If they're going to go down that path, it would have made way more sense had they all woke up in the same room. And then some of them would have been like, no, fuck you, I'm out of here. And they would have all taken off in their own directions. And Levin could have been screaming at them like, no, we need to stay here and figure it out. And then at the end she could have been like, I told you we should have just stayed here, you know, something like that. But it doesn't work here because everyone is in different rooms. And then she's like, oh, it's this room. What, your room? So you're the chosen one? You know what I mean? That doesn't work. That doesn't work. It doesn't work here, and it's kind of a bummer. But, you know, they go for that moment because it's like the, holy shit, if they would have just stayed put. And it's like, no, not Kazan, not Luther, not fucking, you know, the escape artist, not the guy who got cubed, like none of those guys that woke up in that fucking one room, that first room. So that just doesn't make sense, and I think it's pretty stupid. For a well-written movie like this, they can do better than that. Worth is worthless in this movie. I mean, he really just kind of like, he lets them in on a little bit of, you know, information, I guess, because he designed the outer shell and he gives Levin the dimensions of the shell. So, I mean, I guess that helps, but I don't know. Like, I feel like Levin could have figured that out eventually on her own with Kazan. So for me, his character is just sitting there bitching and moaning the whole time. Like, I want to die. And then he's like, I don't want to die. He's like giving up on life and I deserve it. And that's what he even does at the end. And he gets Levin killed because of this. He doesn't want to go, and Luther fucking stabs her because Worth feels worthless and stays and wants to stay behind, which pauses Levin. I would have been the first. I would have jumped through that fucking door as soon as I saw the white light, and then I would have tried to coax, Worth through if I cared, But who's the real victim here? Kazan. Why? Because that motherfucker is not getting his gumdrops. He was promised like 26 bags of gumdrops, and he ain't getting a damn one of them. Poor son of a bitch. So, what is the... Let's see, do I have anything else to say before I get into the super negative? I should have... and Kazan should have pulled a full Kaiser Soze at the end of this. Like, as soon as he gets out of there, and he's like... and then as soon as the door closed, he would have turned around and been like... Fucking idiots fell for it again. Why am I always the only survivor? But... I like that Luther's cut in half when the door's closing. And it's... Worth that holds him back, and he smiles at him, and they die together. Although we don't see Worth die, but I guess it's gonna take. I feel like they've only been in there for like a day, and she says they have like 3 days before there's this and that. It's like, if he just stayed in there long enough, wouldn't he just come right back? Isn't that how that works? Like it takes, like a day to cycle. They haven't been in there that long. A day, maybe. Like, the way the film plays out, it feels like hours that they've been in there. It does not feel that long. So I feel like just stay in that room, and it'll cycle back around, and as soon as it does, he's fine. He's not hurt. I mean, he doesn't want to live, so maybe he'll sit in there and starve himself to death. But once they got to that room again a few times, and he got hungry and sick enough, he'd be like, yeah, maybe, I owe Kazan some gumdrops, and those sound pretty good right now, so maybe he'll share. I don't know. Anyway, so the problem I have here is, how the fuck did Luther get in that room? There's just no fucking way, dude. There's just no way. This is the dumbest part of the movie by far. I don't want to see Levin die. That sucks. She's awesome. She's cute. She should have fucking made it. Like, she did everything. And, okay, I don't even care. You want to kill the fucking... You can kill all the fucking characters, dude. You can take the mentally handicapped guy and fucking beat him to death right in front. I don't care. Okay? I'm not saying like that. All I'm saying is that if you're going to kill someone like Levin, you got to make it make sense. How the fuck did Luther get in that room? Dude, there's no way. This thing was a bridge. It literally takes off like up an elevator shaft to the top where it's not connected to anything else. But Luther gets in that room. A, he gets in that room bullshit. B, he gets in that room without anybody hearing him. Nobody. Those fucking doors are loud. We know that because of the noise room. And it's like, well, won't the noise of the shit shut them off? And there's no noise going on. They're just like quietly talking to each other. So Luther somehow sneaks up this elevator shaft or somewhere. Maybe they're saying it's connected to other rooms. But then wouldn't you have, like, if you could get to that from another room, then you don't have to be in the bridge to be in the final room that goes up. Right? But it shouldn't be connected to anything. It should have went up and outside of the shell. That's how it's at the bridge, and it's not connected to any of the rooms, so none of those doors would matter except for the one that goes outside. So how the fuck did Luther get in that room? He couldn't have hid anywhere. There's nowhere to hide behind. So how the fuck did he get in that room? It's impossible. It's fucking impossible. And it pisses me off. It's stupid. It makes no fucking sense. You got anything? I can't come up with anything. Somebody got something I don't understand? Somebody Kazan me? You're gonna fucking be this, Uber genius? Two. Yeah, I don't got anything. So, the end is stupid. And that's a bummer. And it would have been fine had Luther come and killed Levin and then been hell. Like, I like all that stuff. As I said, I would have rather Levin won and got out. But even if she dies, make it a better way. Because this is just, it's unfair, man. I wanted to start screaming at the screen like freaking Annie Wilkes in Misery. He didn't get out of the cock-a-doodie room. That's what it should have been. That's what it should have been. But anyways, so yeah, I think that's everything. whatever. Really still a cool ass movie. Really, really unique. Really great use of the one set. The acting's a little much, but overall, all the math stuff, all the characters, all that stuff is really, really good. Just does not land that ending for me. But oh well, it's all downhill from here. Let's get to the next.